thing as we move on now. So, number one, we have something called the addition rule. What does the addition rule say? It says if you want to get the probability of A or B, let's say they ask you which one is the probability of A or B, and then you are given the probabilities. How would you get that? They say the simplest way to get that, you can do something like this. You can say that can be given by the probability of A plus the probability of B minus the intersection. Now, what do I mean by that? If you remember on the equation that we did above, let's check this here. When we're busy with the Venn diagram, I want us to go with the Venn diagram that we just did here. There was a question which was asking us to get the probability of A or B. Yeah, this one. There was a question which was asking us to get the probability of A of soccer or rugby. You remember that? Yes. And then you were asking yourself, how would you get the probability of A or B, which is soccer or what? Or rugby. Now, we have a formula that we can use if we haven't drawn a Venn diagram. What does the formula say? It says it's going to be the probability of soccer plus the probability of rugby. Subtract the people that you've already counted because we already have people who are appearing in soccer and what and rugby. So in this case, let's check which will we get exactly the same answer. Remember, how did we do this one? We said it's 14 plus 10 plus 18. Now, another way in which we could have done this without using the Venn diagram, we could have said to them, this is how we'll get this thing. We would have said the probability of A or B. In this case, A or B is soccer or rugby. What does the formula say? It says this is going to be given by the probability of A plus the probability of B minus the probability of A and B. Remember, it doesn't say A only. It doesn't say B only. It says the probability of A and the probability of B minus the probability of A and what and B. Now, what is the probability of A? Probability of A in this case, we're going to say is the boys. How many boys do you have falling on? How many boys do you have falling on? 64. Boys. There are 24 boys. So it means what you are going to come and say here. Yeah, boys. Oh, yeah, boys that play soccer. Sorry for that. How many boys play soccer? You're saying boys that play soccer, I'm going to have what, 24? Yeah. Then this is going to be given as 24 all over 64. I'm going to talk about probability here. Okay, plus 28 all over 28 all over 1 all over 64 minus probability of A and B. A and B is 10. Then this is going to be 10 all over 1 all over 64. And then if you type this in your calculator, let's check what you get. We should get exactly the same answer.
21
It's what? 21 all over 32. And then what do you get for this other one of them? The one on top at the bottom. 21 all over 32. 21 all over 32, and then it's also going to be given as what as 31 all over 21 all over 32. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay, let's go there and check how are they going to ask these questions then. So, two things that we should remember here. These are the rules that we should remember. This is a rule. It says the probability of A or B can be given by the probability of A plus the probability of B minus the probability of A and what and B. But I can also rearrange these things such that it makes anything it says. Let's say I want probability of A and B. If I start with A and B, look at what we're going to do here. We're going to take the A and B to the side. It becomes positive. It was negative. And then we're going to take the probability of A or B, and then we take it this side. And then it becomes what? Negative. So you can start with A or B, or you can start with A and what and B. Exactly the same thing. Is it fine? Yes. And then this formula here, if you look at it, how many things does it have? It has 1 unknown, 2, 3, 4. Now, for exam, most of the time they're going to give us 3, so now we'll have to find the 4th one. But not only that, what else should we remember? We should also remember the complementary events. Now, complementary events, it says the probability of A naught and the probability of A, they're going to give us what? 1. So in other words, if I say this probability of not A plus the probability of A, they're going to give us 1. if you want the probability of not A, you can simply say the probability of A not to that other side, and then it becomes what? Negative. Or if you want the probability of A, you take the probability of A not to the what? To the other side. Now, let's look at an example then. In this example, what is it that we're given, and then what is it that we're looking for? They say example 8, probability of A is given. What is the probability of A? 0.7. 0.7. Probability of P. What is the probability of P? 0.5. We have probability of A, and then we have the probability of B. 0.5. What else are we given? We're given the probability of A and what? And B. Everyone is happy then. We're given 3 things. The fourth one is what? It's missing. That's what they're asking here. What is going to be the probability of A or B? Now remember, we have formulas for that. What do the formulas say? They say probability of A or B is going to be given by probability of A plus the probability of B minus the probability of A and B. So let's go and do that. We're going to say we have this, which is going to be given by the probability of A plus the probability of B. After this, we know what is A. It's a matter of substitution. 0.75. Oh, 7. Guys, by the way, when you're dealing with probability, your probability cannot be more than 1. Probability is a value between 0 and 1 and 1. If it's going to happen, it's 1. If you are sure it's going to happen for sure. Then here you have 0.7 plus 0.5 minus 0.4. So which is going to be 0.8. 0.8. Yes. This is going to be 0.8. Now, how would they mark something like this then? Exam. They will say 1 mark for substitution, 1 mark for the answer, and then 1 mark for the formula. And then you'll get 3 marks for a question like this. Next, probability of not A. We want the probability of not. How would we get the not then? Remember, from the top, what do we know? The probability of not A is equal to 1 minus the probability of A. Let's look into that. So what are we going to say if they say they want the probability of not A? We're going to tell them this can be given as. We're going to tell them this can be given as. It can be given as 1 minus. Yes. Okay, we have 1 minus the probability of A. And then 1 minus, what is the probability of A? It's 0.7. Anyway, this is going to be 0.1. 1, 2. Okay, next, they say we want the probability of not A or B. We don't want A or B. What will you say with this one? We can use the same principle that we've used above. We can tell them with the probability of A not, the probability of A or B and the probability of not A or B, they're going to give us what? 1. So meaning in other words here, we're going to tell them this. This is going to be given as 1 minus the probability of A or B. Have you already got the probability of A or B? Yes. We got it on top. What did you get it as? 0.8. It was 0.8. So the probability of not A or B means which is going to be given as 1 as it's 1 minus 0.8. It's going to be 0.1, 2. Then we have 1 minus 0.8.